Formaji YouTube video k lia oper jo tum ny story lik kdhs k oper tai men strong hook lik k do. Hook jandar. Suspenseful our curiosity si barpor hona chaye k mary vauer engage ho jn our video ko ntk deken what if one small truth could destroy everything you believe about yourself. It was not loud. It was not dramatic. But the moment it surfaced, something inside me froze. The room felt smaller. The air felt heavier. And suddenly, every memory I trusted started feeling wrong. I thought I was ready for the truth. I was not. Because some truths do not set you free. They quietly trap you, forever. The truth did not arrive like a scream. It arrived like a whisper that refused to leave. I stood near the window, watching the reflection of my own face in the glass. The light outside was fading, turning the street into a slow-moving shadow. I noticed my hands trembling. Not from fear alone, but from recognition. Something in my body already knew what my mind was trying to deny. The room smelled of dust and old paper. Every breath felt deliberate, as if the air itself demanded attention. I remembered the words again. Small, careful, spoken without emotion. They were not meant to hurt. That made them worse. I stepped back, my heel touching the cold edge of the table. The sound echoed louder than expected. It made my heart jump. Silence returned immediately, thick and watchful. My eyes drifted to the photographs on the wall. Smiling faces, captured moments, proof of a life I believed was solid. Now those smiles felt rehearsed, like masks worn for too long. I leaned closer to one picture. I studied the details. The background looked unfamiliar. The angle felt wrong. The memory refused to match the image. A dull pressure formed behind my eyes. I tried to recall the day, the weather, the sounds, the feeling. Nothing arrived, only emptiness. The truth pressed harder, not loud, not aggressive, persistent. I realized how carefully the room was arranged. How nothing was out of place. Too perfect. Perfection suddenly felt threatening. I walked toward the door, then stopped halfway. The handle looked different, slightly worn, as if touched by hands I did not remember. My pulse climbed. I listened. There was no sound beyond the walls. No footsteps. No voices. Yet I felt observed, not by eyes, but by expectation. The truth wanted acknowledgement. I whispered it aloud, just once. The word tasted strange, heavy, the moment it left my mouth. The room reacted. The light flickered, not enough to be dramatic, enough to be noticed. My chest tightened. I felt heat along my neck. A crawling sensation. I turned slowly, scanning corners, searching for something unnamed. Nothing appeared. That was worse. My thoughts began to shift. Memories rearranged themselves. Small details changed position. Conversations sounded different in my head. I questioned which version had come first. The floor felt colder under my feet. The walls seemed closer than before. I noticed faint marks near the doorframe. Scratches. Vertical. Uneven. I reached out, tracing them with my fingers. The texture sent a sharp chill through my arm. These marks carried intention. I pulled my hand back quickly. My breathing grew shallow. I told myself this reaction was unnecessary. That truth was harmless. The lie sounded weak. A faint sound reached my ears. Not from outside. From behind me. A soft shift of air. I turned. Nothing moved. Yet the sense of presence grew stronger. My reflection in the window caught my attention again. For a brief moment, it did not move when I did. My stomach dropped. Then it corrected itself. Too late. I stepped closer, heart pounding against my ribs. I studied my own eyes. They looked tired, older. They looked like they had seen this moment before. The truth pressed deeper now. It was not new. It was remembered. That realization shook me more than fear. I backed away, knocking into the chair. It fell with a sharp sound. The noise felt final. I waited for something to respond. Nothing did. The silence returned, heavier than before. I realized then that the discomfort was not coming from the room. It was coming from alignment. From pieces finally fitting together. I understood why the truth had been hidden. Not to protect me from pain. To protect me from understanding. The air felt thinner. I swallowed slowly. The story I believed about myself began to loosen its grip. And something else, older and quieter, started to take its place. The truth did not demand action. It demanded acceptance. And as I stood there, surrounded by familiar objects that no longer felt safe, I realized this moment was only the beginning. The small truth had opened a door. What waited beyond it had already started to breathe. The breath beyond the door was slow, measured. It did not rush toward me. It waited. I understood then that the truth was never meant to chase. It only reveals itself when running no longer works. I closed my eyes, not to escape, to listen. The room settled. The walls stopped pressing inward. The silence softened. Acceptance changed the weight of everything. The truth no longer felt sharp. It felt clear. I opened my eyes again. The reflection in the glass matched me now. No delay, no distortion, just stillness. The photographs on the wall remained unchanged. Yet their meaning shifted. They were no longer lies. They were fragments, incomplete, but honest. I stepped away from the door. Not because I feared what was beyond it, but because I no longer needed to open it tonight. Some endings do not require answers.